Okay, so here's the thing. I've been searching like crazy for the drone stuff, but it's not because of what we had talked about on Saturday. In fact, it's completely different because all of a sudden now things are starting to take a little bit more shape. The whole thing that we talked about on Sunday night really kind of brought in a little bit more light, where we found out about this whole nuke option playing into the whole drone scenario. The drones are still going. I mean, that's the craziest thing. The drones are still going. It's not like they're going away. So if they're not going away, then what is it? What is it that's keeping these drones still going in the sky? It's bizarre, right? Okay, so enough of talking about the drones, because I think there's something else that actually is going to take a little bit more precedence over the drones. And that is some tests that I think have been going on. And it's not because of the drones, but it's actually because of something else completely. Okay, I really do. I really believe this. So I've got some things pulled up, and I'm going to do this here. I didn't get this prepared, but let's go ahead and put this up here because I want you guys to see this. And we've talked about it already. I've already talked about this Saturday night and Sunday night. I talked about this. But let's go ahead and see if we can pull this up anyway. So let's go with this. Okay, there we go. Okay, we talked about this. So I think we talked about this one in particular on Saturday night. And I said, you know, this is really crazy. It's kind of like Stranger Things. Okay, this is what that reminds me of. But this is something totally different, okay? Because at first I thought, what am I seeing? I don't even know what I'm seeing. They're saying it's probably because of the drones, right? But I doubt it. It's probably a power surge, whatever. Okay, well then there were other things going on, okay? There was another one that happened. Let me see if I could find that one. There was another one here in Memphis that shows the lights going crazy. Okay, so some of these were in Tennessee, right? Okay, and then there was a lady who found in the parking lot. She found that there was something going crazy out there. Let me see if it's in this feed. Yeah, this is it. Okay, guys, do you remember this? I talked about this on Sunday. All of these are so connected, it's not even funny. And when this came up, this one was, is this an EMP? Like a test of an EMP. And I looked it up. I went to Google. I showed you guys in that live stream that yes, an EMP can cause this type of reaction. It can cause it because it causes almost like a power surge. And so it causes these lights to flash erratically. But see, it's not just, okay, so the parking lot lights aren't, but the cars are. Okay, the cars are the ones that are flashing. Now, on the other one, as we go back up to this, okay, on these, it's the parking lot. Now, listen, I'm going to have you listen to this. Listen to this one.
And they never flash like this. The lights do not always flash. I go to Walmart all the time, and they never flash like this.
Okay, this is at a Walmart. So this Walmart, I don't know where this is located here. Let's see if they give us any kind of, this is New York. Okay, it's a New York Walmart. Okay, but then there's also some other ones in Asheville. Now, Asheville, you know, has been going through some devastating events with the hurricane and everything and the flooding. And now they're not getting, supposedly, any help from FEMA. Who knows what's going on there? I don't know. I don't live there. Okay, but if you live in North Carolina, if you know of anything, just let me know. But aside from that, they are getting these flashes of lights. Look at this. Here's the Asheville Airport. Okay, let me see if I can blow this up for you. Here's the Asheville Airport. They're having the same events happen as Tennessee, right? As New York, okay? And we looked it up. We looked it up on Sunday. This is caused by an EMP, and this could be, I'm just theorizing. I'm just throwing this out there. This could be something that's maybe localized, like a test. Like they're testing something. I don't know. But look at all of the, I mean, this is the one from New York. And you can clearly see there's another one here from Asheville, a different perspective. Let me see if we can play this here. Look at that one here. Let's see if I can pull that one up. I mean, that's pretty significant to me. But I want to know what you guys think. Because if you think that this is something drone related, I could kind of see that. But I don't think. I mean, I'm still open-minded to a lot of things, but I don't know. Something weird seems to be happening with these lights and the power being surged upon. And it screams EMP to me. So it screams like something is coming. But I don't know what. I don't know what. These lights are insane that they're happening, especially in certain parts that are being affected, that have been in the news recently. So let me know what you guys think. Here's another one. Here's one with just the cars. Look at, looks like a lot of Teslas that are all flashing their lights due to some reason. I mean, could it be like a hack? I don't know. Cyber type thing. I'm not sure. I mean, that's a possibility. But to me, I'm thinking this has to be something EMP related. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You can let me know what you think, but that's what I'm thinking that is. Now, the other thing I wanted to do tonight, okay, I wanted to listen. I wanted to listen into this. Now, this is a pretty long video, and I didn't get to listen to the entire thing, but it seemed really interesting, and I'm not sure what they were trying to do, but it seems like in this video, it's just audio. That's all it is, and we're just going to listen to the audio. But supposedly there's an anonymous military official with top secret clearance, okay, and he's come forward with explosive claims about mysterious drones that have been spotted worldwide. Okay, so we know that a lot of people are trying to come forward. We don't know if they're legit. We don't know if they're real. We don't know what's happening. So unless you're watching mainstream media, but who's to say that that's even giving us the answers that we want, right? Because we know that the government is up to something. The only reason why I say the government's up to something is because they clearly say that they know what the drones are, but they won't tell us, like, they just say it's okay. They won't tell us if they know. They won't tell us what they are and what their reasoning for it. Now, they did come out and they said some are commercial aircraft that are being spotted, some are military aircraft, some are commercial drones or hobbyist type drones, right? And so they're trying to debunk a lot of the stuff that we see on the social media outlets. And that's fine, they can do that, but they know what is going on. They just won't say what it is. They won't give us a clear, straight answer. And there's been so many drone experts that have gone on record saying that they are looking for a nuke. They're looking for a missing warhead coming back from Ukraine. That's what they're looking for. However, some have said very softly, through mainstream media, they've said that this is not a nuke, but it's nuclear material. Radioactive waste, not sure. They just say nuclear material, okay? And that the crate was damaged and they opened it up and whatever was supposed to be in there is missing. And so then that's when these drones became incredibly active and searching at night for this. But what I wanted to do, if you'll let me do this, I want to play this and I want to listen to what is being said by this supposed anonymous military official. It could be completely bunk. I mean, this could be completely fake. I have no clue. It seems like he has a voice disguiser on here, so I'm not sure. But why don't we just take a listen and see what it's all about?
That they were able, they did one night that they did all of them at the same time, all within 3 minutes of each other.
All the military bases at the same time?
At the exact same time.
And you were there when it happened?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
We had aircraft outside. So what did they? Normally we keep them inside, but our aircraft were going to fly over a football game for the opening of a football game. Yeah. And they were, we had 6 aircraft that were getting ready to leave to do that. that, so they left them out overnight, and they spotted them flying over our aircraft and mapping. You can see them. They're not putting off heat signatures, but you can see like laser mapping.
Dude, that's insane.
That went off like 3D mapping.
Yeah.
And they went to our magazines. The magazine where we keep all the ammo for the helicopters.
Yeah.
And then the magazine where we keep all the ammo for the jets. And my base is unique. It has these Southeast Response Team, which there's 4 fighter jets that stay there that are fully armed.
Oh, wow.
That have missiles and machine gun rounds in them, and they're loaded, and they have these heaters that run that keep the engines warm, and electronics that stay on so the aircraft actually stays turned on. And fighters and pilots are there 24/7. They rotate out.
Okay.
And they go out, and so in theory they can get on alert and be off the ground in 3 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I've seen them do it, and they're pretty damn quick.
You've seen them?
They'll get a scramble alert, and they'll run out there and jump in the airplanes, and they're taxiing down the runway, and the canopy hasn't even closed yet.
Wow. Have you seen any of the drones over the base?
Yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, you've seen the drones over the base. What do they look like?
Yeah. So there's different types. There's ones that look like kind of like quadcopters, but they have more than 4 blades. It looks like there's 6 to 8 blades on them, and then there's ones that are fixed wing that are over it. But see, the thing is, we have on our base that's designed to defeat drones that are flying under, if they're receiving any kind of signal.
Yeah.
They're designed to defeat them.
So it makes them
Land.
It
makes them land, right?
Yeah, it sees the signal that's being broadcast to it, and it duplicates it and takes it over, or it either jams it, which causes it to land. And they defeated them. They defeated our systems.
Man, that's wild.
And you don't believe this is U.S. military stuff?
No, they would have to. There's certain protocols that have to be done when you do that type of thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm just going to stop it right here for just one quick second, because he's saying he doesn't think that they're military drones, but yet he says that they are quadcopters with 8 blades, and they're also fixed wing. Okay, so if they're not military drones, then what are they? And that's kind of my question. And obviously the military knows about this, right? The military does know about this. So let's keep listening really quick.
And so basically the Northeast Central Command and NORAD had us come and give a report of what happened because they weren't informed of it. And there's no way that anybody would be allowed to do that.
That's crazy.
And I mean, there's a lot of theories going around that it's like it's Space Force and they're trying to prove a point, but to do all those bases coordinated at that time, that takes a lot of. You're talking about dozens of bases that were overflown within minutes of each other.
How long ago?
And he can't fly.
How long ago did this happen?
That started in October, and it hasn't really stopped.
Wow, so it's like a recurring thing all the time.
Okay, so we talked about that too, okay? It hasn't stopped. I said that right at the beginning. None of this has stopped. It's still going on right now. Unfortunately, having it just publicly making a mess and a mockery on social media with all of this stuff where they're creating CGI, everybody's just jumping on this like crazy. But I really think that there's something else that's underlying to all of this. If you understand what I'm saying, like there's something hidden beneath the surface of what these things really are. Yes, are they? Do they come from outer space? Probably not. Right? They are fixed wing. They are quadcopters. We discussed this on Saturday. Could it be that there are UAPs involved in some of this, that people legitimately are seeing UAPs? And then are they, in fact, these other drones going up to, I don't know, are they looking for something? Are they interacting with each other? We've seen videos where one looked like a drone was going up to another object that was hovering, and it was taken down. It was shot down. But see, my question is, nothing on the surface is being destroyed, right? So it's not to say that we're in a war. We're not in the middle of a war. Some people think that, this is it. Maybe it's intergalactic war. Maybe it's something more, something bigger than that, right? Or maybe it's maybe Russia's coming over, maybe China's coming over. Who knows? They claimed Iran. I mean, my goodness, how could you even possibly believe that an Iranian mothership was sitting out on the East Coast, sending in these drones with all this technology that we've supposedly never seen before? Now, the other thing that's incredibly important, which I do have another video to pull up, I am going to try to find it, but over and over and over again, they are talking about how these drones, when let's say it's the sheriff's department, okay, out in New Jersey, when they send up their police drone and they go out to see it, it's not there on their thermal. So their thermal imaging is not picking anything up. And I think that that's incredible, because you can pick up a drone, a standard drone, even the ones that the military and the police have, you can pick that up on thermal. So what is the technology that's disguising the thermal? It's masking the heat signature of the aircraft itself. And they go up, they try to look to see what it is, and it turns off all of its lights. It's not even there. So there's these stories that go with that. So yes, it's a fascinating story, but what does it have to do with any of this is my point. And what does it have to do with these lights that are flashing in Tennessee and New York now? Okay, see, it started in Tennessee. The drones were in New Jersey, but these lights started flashing in Tennessee. And then it's New York. And then where was the other one at? Asheville, right? Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, here you go. Here's Asheville. No. Right here. So this is the Walmart parking lot here. Let's go back to this one in case some of you haven't seen this. This is what we're talking about. This is in New York at the Walmart. Okay. Same type of flashing.
All the time, and they never flash like this.
Same type of flashing as in Asheville. Same type of flashing as in Tennessee. Tennessee also had, let's see, this one here was Memphis, right? Look at that. I mean, that's where we need to be paying attention. That's where people aren't talking about this. Nobody's talking about these mysterious circumstances of these flashing lights and possible localized EMPs going off. They're not talking about anything. And yeah, it's sure they don't want to scare the public or whatever. And some people don't even want to go on conspiracy theory, or they don't want to go down a rabbit hole. They want to just report on what it is. And I'm not saying that maybe this is something coincidental. Maybe all of these are just regular power surges that are happening in the areas, and they have nothing to do. However, we looked it up because somebody said that it's an EMP. We looked it up ourselves just to verify, and Google said, yes, you will have power surges similar to this when you test EMPs. And by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. That's what it is. So these lights are the side effect from a power surge due to an electromagnetic pulse. Are they testing it? Are they testing these? So let's get back to what this guy was saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that, but I want to get back to what this guy was saying here.
It happens on the regular.
So let me ask you this: how come you guys don't shoot them down if you've seen them?
So under FAA law, you're not allowed to shoot down any aircraft over the U.S. without congressional approval.
Why do you think these drones are showing up to the bases? To collect information or to do something nefarious?
Okay, really quick. What he said about FAA law is just kind of partially true. I would think that the government and the military could override FAA law and shoot down an Iranian aircraft. It doesn't matter if it's in our airspace or not. So if something's a threat, I'm sure the military doesn't have to get FAA approval. That's just something, the FAA approval, the FAA that he was talking about where you're not legally allowed to shoot down a drone. That's just for your neighbor. Your neighbor can't go shoot your drone down, okay? They cannot do that. They will get a fine, and you can go after them civilly if you want to for the damage on the drone. But that is nothing that's happening here, okay? They don't need FAA permission to shoot anything down. If these drones are seriously a threat to the country, shoot them down.
They're collecting information to coordinate a large scale. I believe that collecting information to coordinate a large scale attack. And I believe the players that are going to be involved it's not just one state. I believe it's a conglomerate of countries that are coming together that are being involved in this, because this thing went to our magazine and flew to each corner of the magazine.
It was like,
and while it was
like analyzing it.
And there's a team from Clemson that came out, like computer engineers and robotic engineers and stuff. They came out and they're trying to figure out what signals they're operating off of, and they're not being fed a signal. So these are pre-programmed. They're running off of AI or something. They're probably taking like Google Earth images and saying, okay, scan this to give me accurate dimensions of where it is.
Okay, so that's really interesting. Okay, we also discussed that as well. AI. Are these drones being powered by AI? Or not powered, but essentially driven, navigated by AI. They're not giving off a signal. That's the other thing. They're not showing up on thermal, okay? So I don't know what technology that is. And they don't have a frequency signature, if you want to say, to where there's something they can pick up and say, we know where this is coming from. There's not a control station that is controlling the craft. The craft are just independently controlling themselves, essentially. And so what he's saying is that he believes that they're getting ready for an attack. Fascinating that he's saying that. And the reason why is because we're clearly seeing there's possible nuclear material that's missing. Some people are claiming it is a nuclear warhead. Okay. There are these lights that so far around New York, Asheville, and Tennessee, right, have been documented as going crazy and flashing. It's doing it for cars. Okay, so cars are susceptible to this flashing as well as the street lights. Okay, so it's not just, and it all seems to be localized in certain areas, and people seem to be blaming the drones for this, but it's not necessarily the drones, because they could be testing out something completely different right now. Okay, let's continue listening to this.
And that way, if they can get a 3D scan, they can look for weak spots, because images from, satellite images are not that great. But if you can go and do a 3D scan and a 3D model of something, and you take out, they scanned those airplanes while they were out there on the tarmac, and they went down the runway and scanned the runway, and then they went and scanned all the other F-16s that were parked out there. So,
is there video?
And they scanned our Apaches. So,
is there video evidence of this, like with the military?
Oh yeah.
But obviously,
yeah, there's plenty of video, film evidence of it.
Obviously, it can never be released, right?
Doubt it.
I'd love to get my hands on it.
At some point in time, has to be released, but
Yeah. Like you saw the
I
one.
doubt it.
You saw that one in Afghanistan recently that got leaked. It was like flying over the military base in Afghanistan, and literally nobody can see it, and you can see it like appearing and disappearing, and it looked like some weird robot, and nobody was able to detect it. So some guy recently leaked it from the military. I don't know if you saw it,
Yeah.
but it was a pretty freaking crazy.
Even if they release something, what does it matter? They release stuff all the time for these UAPs, and it doesn't do us any good. It doesn't help us. It doesn't do anything for the cause of whether it's disclosure, which, you know, a lot of people are hoping for, right? A lot of people are saying that not only did the webbot predict this, right? Guys, remember the webbot that in 2009 predicted there would be the start of a intergalactic war, okay, on December 3rd, all right, because Trump went on Joe Rogan. Okay, look it up. That is the webbot. Okay, the webbot predicted that in 2009. Trump going on the podcast for Joe Rogan was a trigger for it. Joe Rogan started his podcast in 2009. So people say, like, the prediction was completely like, how would the webbot have ever predicted that? Okay. But the webbot, here's the thing. Here's what I see. I don't see an intergalactic war. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I do see something that is being perceived as that. Okay, don't you think that currently we see these drones that are up in the sky? They're shooting at each other. There clearly is aircraft that is taking down other aircraft. And when the law enforcement officers send up their own drones, they also they're being interfered with. Those drones go up. The sheriff's department said it goes up, and there's nothing. There's no heat signature. They don't even know where it's at. The whole drone goes dark. So if this is really happening, and honestly, I haven't listened to this. This is the first time I'm listening to it as well, along with you. So I don't know if this guy is legit. It says it's an anonymous military official. He's got this top secret clearance. I don't know. Okay, this could all be bunk. I have no clue. But I'm listening to it. I'm also very engaged with it, just as you should be too, because we got to put the pieces of this puzzle together. We have to do this because something is happening, and everybody's just throwing this off as like, literally, I had one person tell me that they thought that it was Lyft and Uber that was testing out their future flying cars. I'm like, really? You really think that that's what's going on in the midst of a presidential changeover, okay, and all these wars happening, and we're on the brink of supposedly a third world war. It depends on who you believe and who you trust on that, but supposedly we're on the brink of that, and now you have this, and now you have all of this stuff that's just popping up, and the circumstances and everything that's being shown to us. You got to weed through all the CGI fake stuff. You got to weed through that. And just believe what your gut tells you. Believe whatever you think is really going to be the truth in order to keep you safe, because I don't know. I have no clue what is going on here, but I love investigating it and finding out what is actually happening. So let's continue with this. I don't want to delay it too much longer because it is a long clip.
Video clip. I seen it in like some documentary on Netflix recently.
Yeah.
Does it look like that, or does it look like a normal drone or like a quadcopter?
No, it looks like a military grade drone. So it looks like.
Dang.
But if you look at what's going on in the world today with drones, and how much they've changed the battlefield. I mean, just look at what's going on with Ukraine and Syria. It has changed the battlefield so much to the point where the AI part is kind of what scares me the most. I mean, I wasn't happy with drones, especially when they decided to arm drones and use them for combat.
Yeah, that's like the worst idea ever.
I wasn't happy with that when that happened, because, when you have zero chance of losing a life, and you're going to take a life, it makes that decision to take a life a whole lot easier.
Because
it's not nearly as weighted.
It's like they're playing a video game at this point, right?
And to be realistic, so many people are honestly desensitized to playing video games like that you can get soldiers and people involved in that, and it doesn't faze them at all. You know?
Okay, so let me ask you this: like for the military bases, like when the drones show up there, what if one of you what if you guys got the order to shoot it down? What the heck would you shoot a drone down with?
So there's energy weapons that you have, and then there's conventional weapons that you have. I mean, basically you got shotguns, and you have energy weapons that are designed to send out a pulse of energy that doesn't make.
Okay, what he's talking about is like an electromagnetic interference, okay? They would send out an EMP. They would send out a localized EMP shot in order to take that down. Essentially, what it does is it disrupts you can disrupt the circuitry of a drone, but they really try to disrupt the signal of a drone, okay? So whenever something is, when a drone is being controlled remotely, okay, which I don't know if these are, he's clearly saying they cannot find a frequency that these are operating off of in order to find the controller, the control station, which he thinks these are independently operated by AI, which is incredible. But what he's saying is that, the energy weapons, it's not really energy weapons. It's not like that I know of. I mean, I've never seen anything like a Tesla beam or something to that effect. But what he's trying to say is they have electromagnetic pulse signals that they can send out. They also have jammers. Think of like, have you ever seen those old jammers that they used to have for cell phones? And so when you'd go into a car dealership or you'd go somewhere that you wanted to buy something, and they have jammers that block your signal, okay? And so you can't call out, okay? Number one, that is a complete hazard if I've ever seen one, but it's like, oh, I don't have really good cell service. I can't look for the price on another car, right? There's jammers that they legally will jam your cell phone. And this happens at different places. You can buy these jammers and these companies do it. Whether or not it's legal in your state, I have no clue. But that's what he means by energy weapons. So if a drone crosses into like a base or something like that, they can aim a weapon at it that sends out a jamming signal in order to distort it. Typically what would happen is if the drone is just a pocket-sized drone, and when I say pocket-size, I mean anywhere from just a small 3-inch up to even like a 10-inch type drone, what would happen is the frequency that's being sent back and forth from the controller to the drone itself would be jammed. And when that happens, the drone itself thinks that it has done a flyaway. The flyaway is something like where it's gone too far from the controller that it needs to go into a hovering mode. So what it does is the computer in the drone responds and says, okay, I need to go into a hovering drone or a hovering mode on the drone, and then I need to land, okay, to be safe. That's simply what they do in order to just take it down. So very simple measures that the military does. They also have shotguns. He said shotguns. Yes, they do have shotguns that they do take out drones. But as far as energy weapons, I mean, an EMP, yeah, I could see that. That would kind of fry the internal components of the craft and then send it down. I can see that.
It confuses the signals going to it. But if you've got something that's not being sent signals and is flying off of AI, it can be shielded from that. So
my concern is they're going to use all this. Like I've kind of thought about this, is like, what if this is like a deep state operation to kind of like expand regulations to drones and ban the public from using public drones? You know what I mean? Like, because they always try to find any reason to ban the public from using actual drones.
And I feel like this is going to turn into something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's, I mean, people are going to exploit that, but this is too coordinated, it's too big, it's too much stuff going on that doesn't, because, I mean, if you were trying to do that, you would want it to be as loud and out here as possible.
Yeah.
And the stuff they're doing over these bases, nobody knows about. It's, every now and then there's a whistleblower and somebody finds out about something, but nobody knows what's going on over these bases. You know, if they did, they would be freaking terrified. We have to create drone countermeasures on the daily in our workforce, in our workplace. You have to create your drone countermeasure. And right now, when you spot a drone, you just have to bring people in, and hopefully they're not getting accurate numbers of who's there and how many boots are on ground. And, you know.
So that only means that you guys are like kind of being overwhelmed by drones. Like you guys are being harassed.
Yeah, and it's, well, the problem is we're so limited to our response. So our response is being so limited, and so it's the best way of saying this. We can't do what we should be doing, is what I'm saying.
Which is shooting them out of the sky.
We should be shooting them down, analyzing them, figuring out exactly where they came from and who's behind.
Unless, of course, they are your own craft and you're not shooting them down, which the Pentagon has, I assume, right? They made an address today, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Confirmed drones. Let's see. Okay, so they did address it. So Kirby sought to reassure the public that the Biden administration is dealing with the increase in reports of drones, saying that the federal government, oh, is this really the worst time? Federal government has conducted some analysis on the drones over the last several days. Our assessment leads us to conclude that these are lawful and legal, okay, aviation activities, manned and unmanned drones and civil aviation aircraft or commercial aircraft. Okay, what they're trying to say is, yes, these are that, because people are getting confused. People are mixing up these drones because they happen to think, oh, well, what is that in the sky? That looks like a drone because it's a light and it has flashing lights on it. Let's just take it for a video and post it on Instagram. So then everybody goes crazy. Oh, look, there's more drones. There's more drones. But see, there's a coordinated drone effort that's happening, but not on social media. Okay, that's the key thing that we got to take away from here. So the White House, yeah, sure, is saying that their assessment leads them to conclude that these are lawful and legal aviation activities, but yet this guy is saying that's a no-go. They don't know what it is.
Find it, and they have been flying now for so long over these bases and over these critical infrastructures that, you know, with nothing stopping them, that they're not going to stop.
But there's no way that the military doesn't know where they're landing to get recharged. Like, it's not like they have an unlimited battery. Like, that doesn't exist.
So we followed one, and it flew away from the base longer than we could pursue it. We ran out. Our guys had to land for fuel.
Seriously?
So it was flying away from the base.
Okay, if this guy's legit, he's saying that this drone not only is being controlled by AI, but it flew so far away from the base that they had to refuel. What are they refueling? Their planes? Their jets? Now, that he didn't say, but I'm assuming they wouldn't. Would they use a drone against a drone?
And this
over 400 miles.
And this is a battery-operated drone, not a fuel-operated drone.
Can't tell. It's not putting off a thought.
Yeah, exactly. He can't tell. He doesn't know. If this guy's legit, he doesn't really know. 400 miles? You got to be kidding me.
Image.
Oh, shit.
Dang.
Sorry for the cussing. This is live, and I've never heard this before. I can't bleep it out. I'm listening to it like you guys are.
Dude, that's crazy. What? I'm so invested in this. Like, you don't understand. Like, I've been like living, trying to find information about this. Like, 'cause this is crazy, man. Like, this is a whole new ball game.
It is, and it doesn't. You know, there's even if you're so let's say, you know, best case scenario, they're just hobbyist kids. There's some little group that's got some page that they're trying to fill up with content of all this stuff, and they're trying to break the law, like the kids that wanted to storm Area 51. We figured out how we can do this now, and they've that's best case scenario, right? Where do they get the technology to defeat the countermeasure systems that we have?
Yeah, like the U.S. has the best intelligence and best systems anywhere.
Yeah, they didn't get that information, I don't think
any country.
The kids didn't find that.
Yeah.
I don't think any country has like this technology. This has got to be like out of outer space type of technology.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't think it's outer space kind of technology, but clearly there is something that's happening with this. I mean, clearly there's something going on. So I don't know. I have no clue as to what we are seeing right now. And I just think that, this is how media should be. This is how media should be. This is how we should be getting our media. We should be getting our media from people who investigate and who go out there and who find out what the truth is. They talk to people who are willing to whistleblow. They talk about this stuff, because I'm going to tell you right now, if I go to the mainstream media, right? Number one, I get here and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, our assessment leads us to conclude that these are lawful and legal aviation activities, manned and unmanned drones. Well, yeah, because a lot of people are filming just planes and calling it a drone. So yes, I completely agree. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something else. What is the other portion of this? Those drones that can't be explained. What is that? What's happening with that? And how, if this guy's saying that this drone came in, okay, from wherever it came from, it came in, it hovered around the base, okay? They didn't shoot it down. The whole FAA explanation doesn't work with me. I don't like that, because if it's hovering over your base, I'm sorry, but if I'm going to take my drone and I'm going to fly over a military base, go ahead. If you want to shoot it down and then send me to jail, I deserve it, okay? But this is insane. They're not shooting it down because they don't know what it is. That's odd to me. And then after that, they're chasing it. They're chasing the drone, and it goes out 400 miles. It's not battery powered, but at the same time, it's not powered by fuel, because their planes had to go refuel. They followed it 400 miles, and that was it. That's as far as they could go. I mean, something doesn't seem right about it. Something seems off about it. You can believe it if you want to believe it, okay? I personally have an open mind about certain things like this, and sometimes I think that, somebody might get lucky and get an actual whistleblower, somebody who's willing to tell the truth. He had voice disguiser. Clearly, that might be a clue. I don't know. I have no clue to any of this. But the next thing, though, is the lights. Because we have to put two and two together. You have to say, the webbot predicted this. Whether you like it or not, the webbot predicted this. If you don't know what the webbot is, I'm telling you, go look at it. I might do maybe just a short on it or something like that to talk about it. But the webbot, which was created back in the late 90s to essentially use the internet to predict market trends, so that way it could see what was hot, what was not, what they could buy stocks in, okay? Well, the inventor of it eventually then repurposed it, essentially reprogrammed it to do something else and start predicting more events, because they found out that they could do that. In 2009, it predicted that there's a trigger event when Joe Rogan interviews Donald Trump. After that, there's going to be an intergalactic war, essentially, from jets, UFOs, and UFOs that were manned and unmanned, by the way. And then it's going to be UFOs on UFOs, and then the military and our aircraft shooting down UFOs. So the webbot predicted this, and everybody was getting ready for December 3rd, supposedly around that time, around the first part, the end of November and the first part of December, there would be this intergalactic war. And guess what ended up happening? We have essentially a drone war. or something's happening because nobody's given us a straight answer. So something technically is happening in the skies. Okay, so then that means that the webbot was right in a way. Like it predicted something that was right. And it's just weird for me to say that because I did not think that that would ever happen. But I think that I can clearly say that there is something very similar in that regard. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure with all of this stuff. And then this, the EMPs, are all these flashing lights, all of these flashing lights. Look at that. Asheville Airport, you got New York, Walmart. You have all of this that's going on, right? All of this is happening right now during this time. Why? Here's another view of the Asheville Airport right here. Let's see. Yeah. Why is this happening? And an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, causes this. It can cause lights to flash. It can cause a power surge. So it can cause this type of thing to happen. So are they experimenting? Are they localizing this kind of technology? Did they use an EMP to maybe try to take down a drone? And that's what we have as a after effect? I don't know. I have no clue. Fascinating, nonetheless. Oh, it also happens to cars too, by the way. It's not just like the lights and the like the shopping center and all that stuff. It's the cars as well that it does that to. But I get where the White House is coming from. When they say they see all of this stuff, right? And they say, well, no, some of that stuff is just, it's easily explainable. A lot of times if you're flying over an ocean, just so you know, if you're flying over an ocean, you're going to see boats out there that look like they are in the clouds or in the sky or whatever, just below the clouds, but they're really just out in the ocean. It's like an effect, like a mirage or some type of visual effect that you see. I mean, and a lot of times, a lot of these things can be explained away. Okay, commercial aircraft, a lot of this stuff can be explained. There you go. It's got indicators that are showing it's not something that's necessarily from outer space. Okay, like to me, something from outer space is going to look totally different. For me, if we had an alien invasion, it'd be something totally different. It wouldn't be this. I mean, that just looks like normal aircraft to me. So that's where I get a little bit confused, and as we all should, because the information's not being funneled properly. I don't know if there's anything else that's on here. I don't like scrolling through all of this stuff because as you scroll through, it's like you don't get what we're discussing right now. So we're going to scroll through some of it and see if we can find anything else about the lights or the drones that's happening. I mean, this to me, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. These lights, though, something like this, is that paused? No. Something like this is more of a spotlight type thing. I could see that being a spotlight. I can also see that being a CGI. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, if I saw something like that, I would definitely, if that was legit, if that was real, I wouldn't want to be hanging around. I would want to I'd be worried as to what was happening. And the other thing too, is that we have all this stuff like with AI, right? AI now is creating all of this imagery that people think is real, and it's not real. It's just AI. And it's people sitting on their computers and they're putting all this stuff together. So you have drones going crazy. You have the webbot that supposedly kind of predicted it. You have flashing lights everywhere that are popping up as if there's EMPs. And then you have AI that all these people want this attention. And so they're going to create this AI in order to deceive you and get clicks. And I think that social media is great for us to get information out there, right, that we would otherwise not know about. But it's also bad for us. It's really hurting us with all of this stuff because we don't know what is real. That's a big drone. Hey, if you guys want to listen to this, let's listen to this really quick here and see.
Why does it have to be a classified briefing if these are just hobbyist drones? They're not military drones. Why is it a classified briefing on
Good question.
Capitol Hill?
I don't. I'd have to refer you to Congress on that. Again, sharing as much information as we can here. I don't have the briefing in front of me, so I can't tell you specifically, what aspects are classified or not. I can assure you, though, that again, we are sharing as much information as we can based on what we know.
Just why does it have to be a class?
Okay, interesting. So, yeah, good question. Why does it have to be classified if it's just hobbyists? That doesn't make any sense. So something else is going on. It leads me to believe that they're kind of pushing out the narrative of the nuclear option. They're searching for nuclear waste or nuclear some kind of nuclear material, right? They don't really call it waste. They call it like a nuclear material. And they said that came in through the port or something came through the port. And that's why they're searching for it, because it's missing. Okay. That's a soft entry into the media. Okay. Because we clearly had a drone guy who we watched on Sunday night. I think it was Sunday night. And we watched that drone guy, that drone expert who said he builds these things for the military. And he said, in no uncertain terms, that he's been told that was a nuclear warhead that they had sent to the Ukraine, and Ukraine had to send it back. So they had to bring it back. How? I mean, that's a bold statement to make. That guy clearly has contracts with the government. I mean, if he's putting his stuff out, he's showing his drone, he's showing his company and everything else like that. And he's saying, hey, this is what I heard. I personally, I don't know if I would want to say that, because you might lose your contracts. But do we believe that guy? Do we believe this? Why is it classified? Why is this remaining classified is really the key thing. If it's really just hobbyist drones and they're not just, and then why are they softly entertaining the idea that it's nuclear material? They're just softly doing that, almost as if it's, there's just some nuclear material that they're trying to investigate and look for. Oh my gosh. Here's more of the flashing lights. This stuff is going crazy, guys. We got to pay attention to that stuff. You got to pay attention to that, because it could be something else that's happening. I don't know. We could watch this one. I debate doing it only because everybody's talking about the drones and we don't know what they are, but yet here is law enforcement right here, and is saying exactly.
And I happened to come down eastward down Highway 22, and in order to go into Scotia, you have to turn and head south down Highway 11. So I had to come to the junction of Highway 22 and Highway 11. And as I stopped at the junction to turn to head south, I happened to look left. And when I looked left, North Loop, which would be to my left about 3/4 of a mile, there's a giant co-op building, and that co-op building has a big red light on top of it. And I would say it's anywhere between 100 to 150 feet high. And I happened to just see to the east of the red co-op light another large orangish reddish light. And of course I'm going, well, that's not the co-op building. So I looked right real quick to check my other direction of travel, and I looked back left again, and that thing had covered close to 3/4 of a mile in 2 to 3 seconds. And, I was kind of stunned, because I'm pretty familiar with aircraft and whatnot from my military experience. And I couldn't believe it, that something that could travel that fast without no noise. And I didn't have my window up at that time. And my vehicle was running, obviously. And at that time I drove a Ram 1500 pickup truck, but at that low of altitude and it to be able to cover that distance, there should have been an ample amount of noise, and there was nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing that you would think would make a sound from a drone even.
Okay, because drones are loud. Drones are really loud. I mean, think about it. Sometimes they have 8 props on them and 8 motors. Sometimes if you're talking about military style ones, they might be a little bit quieter, but they still sound like a plane. I I mean, they still have, big motors to them, big propellers. And what airplane do you know that can do exactly what he just said? He said that this thing went 3.5 miles in a matter of seconds. Okay. It could be, hypothetically, I'm just going to say this, he could be mistaken, and it could be a matter of not gauging his distance correctly. So it could be that he sees a light in the sky and he has a moment where the perceived distance is actually farther than what he thinks. Okay. So then when he then gets up closer to it, then it's like it travels. It looks like it traveled so quickly within a matter of seconds, but it really didn't. It was more of the perception of what he was seeing. I don't know. But look, law enforcement officer, he's being interviewed. And clearly this is Nebraska. Clearly people know him. It's not like he's impersonating a law enforcement officer. People would obviously know who he is. He's probably telling a story because right now everybody's going crazy about it. And he's thinking, this is a great opportunity for me to tell my story. I don't know. You could believe him or not believe him. I'm not sure.
No prop wash, none of that noise. It was completely silent. Yes, it was dark, but it was stunning. It blew my mind. And when it flew past me or flew right in front of my windshield, it was still that brightish orange red color. I couldn't make out if it had, wings or a tail or any of that stuff, or if it had windows. I couldn't see none of that. It was just a bright orangish color. And the one thing that I thought was weird, as it went by me at that speed, there was contrails behind it. So I didn't know how to regulate that am I looking at a plane? What is this? But at the same time, I'm like, hey, I got to get to Scotia because of all the people that are freaking out over there. So I turned and headed south down Highway 11 to continue towards Scotia, and this thing was gone. I mean, it was gone. The horizon, the hilltops, I have no idea where it went. And I
mean, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Let me know what you guys think about that one. I mean, see, there's a lot of stuff where people post stuff that just, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, this is the time now to start posting, AI and everything else. And I get really excited about this stuff because I don't know what it is, and they seem to be hiding something. This kind of stuff like right here, I don't know. Is this, is this kind of stuff legit, or is this fake? Is this a hoax? See, everybody is coming out with their own stuff right now, and everybody has the opportunity to make these kind of videos. So that's why I just don't get it. Although I gotta say though, a lot of these, a lot of the curious sightings that I do see similar to this, they do show the orange light, like the aircraft it's an orange orb or something like that. So that police officer was right in that regard. Okay, this is back from December 8th, it looks like. Oh, they're just going over a couple different ones and what they look like. I mean, some of them really, I think, can be mistaken for. Obviously, that's aircraft. I mean, come on, that's aircraft. That might be a fixed wing drone. It might be. I'm not, but definitely military. Definitely something that's not going to have high end technology. This is the other thing too, is I don't know what they're trying to prove with this. This is a plane. It's probably a commercial plane. Everybody clearly knows that. So I don't know. Some people just like to mess around with other people. It drives me crazy. I just wish we had just a way to get all of our information that we needed, but it just is what it is. Just a bunch of just everything stuff. Okay. Well, I'm going to, we are close to the hour. We're right on the hour. So I'm going to wrap up the show. I appreciate everybody watching this with me. Please let me know in the comments what you think is going on, because I feel as though this could be the beginning of something. Okay. Like whether you think this kind of stuff right here, I mean, if you think that this is drones, I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. And I think some of these are commercial airliners that are going into land. They're in a traffic pattern, and people have seen this all the time. We're used to airplanes. We've been used to them for over 100 years, right? So we're used to seeing these things in the sky. Why is this now any different? Why is this being covered up? Why is it classified? Why are these EMP flashing lights happening now all the time? Why is this happening? That's what I want to know. I want to know, why is this happening? Is this an EMP? Anyways, it's time to cut this short. I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll keep digging into this. We'll try to figure some stuff out. But as always, guys, thank you so much. And I will see you guys on the next live stream, possibly tomorrow night.